you go to audio here. Gonna break down the corporation. We're going to define the corporation, the word, the term. We're going to know exactly what they're talking about when they say something about corporate entity. Now, a money corporation, construed by statute to mean every corporation having banking powers or having the power to make loans upon pledges or deposits or authorized by law to make insurances. It says what now? Every corporation with banking powers. Alright? So, how about concorporeal, of the same body? Okay? Concorporate, to unite in one mass or substance. Concorporation, union in one mass. Disincorporation. A corporation is a company of tradesmen or a town endowed with privileges, magistracy, and power of making laws within themselves. To disincoordinate is to deprive of the privileges and powers so granted. Now, we got here corporal, of or belong to the body, bodily. A corporal, okay, it's an officer. A corporal oath, so called because the party who takes it is obliged to lay his hand upon the Bible. Okay, corporeal, a communion clause. Corporality, bodiliness or bodily substance. Corporality, bodily, corporate, united into one body as a body corporate, corporation, a political body or company established by a royal charter. Corporation is where it consists of a dean and chapter and master of a college or a hospital. Corporation, temporal by the king, is where there is a mayor and a commonalty. I'm telling y'all, corporation, temporal by the common law, is the parliament, which consists of the king, the head, with the lords, spiritual and temporal, and the commons, the body. Corporature, farm bulk or constitution of the body. Corporal, that is, of a body substance or pertaineth to the body. Corporeity, the philosophical school term for the nature of a body, a being of such a substance. Corporification, the giving of a spirit the same or a like body to that it had before spiritualization. Okay, corpse. Alright. What we got here? I don't see it. I ain't worried about it. Concorporate, to unite into one body, to embody. Concrete, to breed, compose, make, or create together. Corporation, a creature of the crown, created by letters patent, an artificial being, invisible, intangible, and existing only in contemplation of law. Artificial persons are called bodies politic, bodies corporate, or corporations. Sovereigns consent necessary to the erection of a corporation with respect to corporation which exists by force of the common law. The duty of the corporation is to set up to the end or design for which it was created. To enforce this duty, all corporations may be visited by the founder or his representative in the case of a lay corporation. Objects for which corporations are created are such as the government wishes to promote. They are deemed beneficial to the country, and it is the benefit that constitutes the consideration of the grant. See? And then, yeah, you can, a corporation with money, with banking powers. I mean, if you got banking powers, there you go. Having a body, that's him. Bicorporal, having two bodies, huh? Bodily, let's get to it. An artificial person or being endowed by law with the capacity of perpetual succession, consisting either in a single individual or of a collection of several. An artificial being, invisible, intangible, and existing only in yeah. I mean, it's going to tell the same thing. I got something back here. Okay, here we go. But it is not such in the sense that a natural person is one. Natural person is not a foreign corporation, but what greater objection can there be to the capacity of an artificial person by its agents to make a contract within the scope of its limited powers and the sovereignty in which it does not reside, provided which such contracts are permissible by law of the place. In the absence of proof, the validity of such is presumed. Basically, if you don't prove that the motherfucker ain't supposed to be there, so what? Here we go. A federal corporation operating within a state is considered a domestic corporation rather than a foreign. The United States government is a foreign corporation with respect to a state. Okay? A corporation exists only in contemplation and by force of law, and where that law ceases to operate, the corporation can have no existence. The state cannot impose one of its artificial creatures on another sovereignty, nor confer on its corporators powers which they can lawfully exercise beyond its jurisdiction. Well, it must dwell in the place of its creation, and that motherfucker cannot leave. A corporation can exercise function and privileges conferred by its charter in any other state or corporation as a legal or constitutional right, but you're going to need diplomatic immunity, because a federal domestic trusted by express trust is a natural person, and that equals a citizen. Got here. Oh, that's it. To embody, to bring to a bodily state. State. Now, the doctrine of de facto municipal corporation provides where, the doctrine of de facto municipal corporation under the color of delegated authority in good faith recognized de facto cannot be said to exist de jure due to failure to comply with requirements. Statute authorizing in good faith under such statute colorable compliance with statute assumption and use of those powers. So they have power because you fucking acknowledged it. In the absence of law authorizing the creation of a municipality de jure, there can be none de facto. So you have to have a legitimate one, or you couldn't have the bunk one. A de facto municipal corporation is one so defectively created as not to be a de jure corporation, but nevertheless the result of a bona fide attempt to incorporate under existing statutory authority, coupled with exercise of corporate powers and recognized by courts as such in all proceedings except a direct attack by the state questioning its corporate existence. So we have to do that, dude. We got to attack them son of a bitches. That's what it says. Now, in case you didn't know, well, hang on. Here we go. Let's play this right quick.
To be shut down if the White House and Congress can't agree, in order to force the president's hand and compel him to do what we hired him to do, which is run the government within the confines of the Constitution and only with the money he collects from taxes and other fees.
Well, you're absolutely right, Judge. You know, what we have to look at is the president is the chief executive officer of this corporation called the United States of America. Look, he told the vice president that he would be part of this budget process, but now the vice president has left the country. So I don't think you see any seriousness coming out of the White House. The bottom line is this: we have a situation that we have to deal with. And I think that the American people, if we continue down the road of subsequent 2-week CRs, there's just more uncertainty, unpredictability that we are creating out there. And when you have that uncertainty, then you're also creating a lack of trust and confidence in who we are and what we were sent here to be. You know, I spent 22 years being a leader in the United States Army, and that's what I'm up here to do, is to show my leadership. The president is the chief executive officer of this corporation called the United States.
There you go. Now, he's the executive officer of this corporation. Now, a lot of people want to be like, oh, well, here you go. Certificate of Incorporation of the United States Corporation Company. Certificate of Incorporation. Instruments relating to incorporation and organization of corporations to do business or other instruments in relation to domestic and foreign corporation companies. This is him. It's right here. You can look it up, man. Now, the United States government is a foreign corporation with respect to a state. A corporation exists only in contemplation of law and by force of law, and where that law ceases to operate, the corporation can have no existence. A state cannot impose one of its artificial creatures on another sovereignty, nor confer on its interpreters or incorporators powers to lawfully exercise beyond its jurisdiction. Rather, a corporation must dwell in the place of its creation and cannot migrate to another sovereignty. A corporation can exercise none of the functions and privileges conferred by its charter in any other state or country as a legal or constitutional right, but only by the community and consent of such state or country. And that's because you don't have diplomatic immunity. And until you do, until you express that trust, your corporation is controlled by its creator, and that ain't you. You didn't create that motherfucker. Until you creaturize it, you don't have no say. You ain't got no control, and you have no standing, you have no status. You're an infant, and you can't speak. They can't hear you. You no talk, no speech. Until you do this, until you express the trust, until you check the state. That's what it said right there. You got to check their ass and put them back in their place. And until you do, they're gonna run over you and run short you, and have good faith in doing it. And until you challenge that good faith, they're gonna have it. Until next time, I'm out.